Hi, everyone, and welcome to Thoughts. Today, we have an interesting episode for you. But just before we start with our guest, I just want to remind you what Thoughts is. Thoughts is our mindful conversation series about mental health and wellness. It's brought to you by Empowering Children and Families. Please check the description box for all the information about their first aid for mental health course. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe for this video. So today we have with us the beautiful, the iconic, she has this look on her today, and the kind Jennifer Keys. Jennifer is going to tell us a little bit about herself, but she is the CEO of a Christian counseling company called Keys to a Healthy Relationship. And we just want to welcome her. Jennifer, welcome to Thoughts. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Trudy. It is such a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I just thank you for choosing me, for even considering me to be a part of this great we're doing.
Perfect. So we, of course, are highlighting individuals who are working throughout the pandemic, giving hope and life to others, and you are doing a stellar job. So we just wanted to invite you to come on Thoughts to have a chat with you. So, you are doing a Christian counseling company, and did you know who's Jennifer first? Before we get into that, who's Jennifer? Did you just wake up one morning and decided, okay, I'm going to go into counseling?
No, Jennifer is a Jamaican, proud to be a Jamaican.
Okay.
I am the daughter of the late Dorrit Drummond, and my dad is still alive, Ronald Byfield. He lives in Spanish Town. And I still have my family there, brothers and sisters, and went to school, Tarrant Primary. Then I went to St. Hugh's High, my Swan sisters there. And then went to Blue Water Bible College. And after that, got a scholarship to Fairview Bible College in Jamaica, and then got a scholarship to Blue Water Bible College in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Island. That's where I studied Bible also. Then went to New York, studied psychology, and then my grad at Mercer University. And with that, I'm taught in the school system for 12 years, New York and Georgia. I now currently live in Georgia, Conyers, Georgia. And then became a realtor for 10 years. Still have my license, hold it, but not as active. But I've been building my private practice. It's a Christian professional counseling private practice for 5 years. And I've been a counselor now for around 11 years.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So first of all, I just want to say shout out to everybody in Jamaica. Yeah. K-Town represent.
Yes, big up
Big up yourself.
I love you all. Mwah. Love you all.
And also to everyone at Tarrant Primary and to the Swan sisters from the lovely ladies of St. Hugh's High School. We just want to say hi.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta do it. We just gotta do it. Right. So wow, that's a lot of stuff. In listening to you talk, I realized that's what, 3 career changes?
3, yes.
Most people will sit in a job, the same job, for forever because they are afraid of any kind of change. And for you in your one little life to change 3 careers, that's really, really brave of you. What made you then want to move into counseling? Because I mean, I could probably see the link because you're a teacher. But what made you want to do that huge jump from classroom teaching to now counseling, and then to identify yourself as a Christian counselor?
Well, first I accepted Christ at the age of 14. So God had a calling on my life. From then, I at high school, St. Hugh's High, had a phenomenal guidance counselor that I just admired a lot. And every time she would counsel us, I would always look at her and say, I want to be just like her. And so I wanted to study. And I used to say, I'm going to go abroad and study. That was England, but that didn't happen.
Okay.
And so that was always in my heart, but God led me into teaching. I've always said God led me there. I did not choose teaching. Teaching chose me.
Right.
And not knowing that God was preparing my path all along, prepared me for now.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband really is the one that really gave me that kick
Right.
to finally go into counseling. So I was always counseling all my life, always counseling my friends, but never had the certificate. And
Right.
so one day he told me, he said to me, you're a hypocrite.
Okay.
He fiercey, not fiercey.
Okay.
And so I asked him why, and he said, you always said you wanted to be a counselor, but you're counseling everyone, but you're not doing it. And so then I said, you will never say that to me again.
Right.
So I went and I went back
Mm-hmm.
to school, to grad school at age 40.
Wow.
So I started over a new career at age 40.
Wow.
And here I am.
I'm just gonna jump in because
Professional.
people.
I'm a licensed counselor in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
But I'm. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I was just going to say that some people they say life begins at 40, so clearly that's true. Clearly that's true.
I guess so. I guess so.
Clearly life begins at 40
because
if at 40 that's your third
I'm
career
40.
change and you weren't afraid any bit, way, shape, or form.
Yes.
You just went into it with open arms. Clearly it was something that was in the making for you. I mean, when I talk about being fearful, some people will sit in the same job for forever because they're fearful. But you decided to step up. What was that defining moment when you said, listen, I know your husband said, but then you had to, resolve it in your heart to say, I'm going to step out, I'm going to do this qualification, and then I'm going to open a Christian counseling business. What's that defining moment for you that made you say, okay, it's going to be Christian? It's not going to be just.
Well, first I must say I did it afraid. Sometimes you just got to do it afraid.
Yes.
I was afraid, but I was trusting God with the process.
Right.
And God already had told me that I am to do, when I finish, I'm to open up a Christian private practice. A lot of my colleagues, my professors said no, but I knew I had to do it God's way.
Right.
And so I just stepped out in faith and said, God, it's me and you. I'm just going to do it your way. And he has not failed me, has been faithful. And I'm so glad I did it, because I did not realize that was a niche for Christian counseling. And the day I stepped out and the day I advertised as a professional Christian counselor, my phone hasn't stopped ringing. So I've just followed him, because God, I have history with God.
Right.
I have history with him.
Yes.
And so, sometimes you gotta do it, held on to. But God really, the real defining moment, you said about the defining moment. Okay. The defining moment really that made me stepped out and started my own practice. God said to me one day while I was getting dressed, he said, go, I got you. And when I heard that, go, I got you, every time I felt like jumping ship, I would hear, I got you. And that's what I held on to for the 5 years. I got you. And he has truly gotten me. He has held me and kept me.
I suppose I'm just listening. I'm thinking, and as as I'm listening, and that, first of all, the idea that you stepped out, though fearful, it's almost as if when somebody would say, oh, that's not possible. If you're fearful, you won't step out. But I think it's that greater obedience, as you said, you have history with God. So you have a greater obedience to trust him. And though your knees might be wobbling, you're like, my knees are wobbling, God, but I know that your knees are not wobbling. And you are able to do this. And then he sends his word. He gives you it gives you some amount of assurance that, listen, I'm with you. And so I just want to stop here and say to anyone that's watching, once you get the word, step out. Step out. Jennifer is a living witness that, once the word comes, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of how you feel in your heart. Don't be afraid of what the voices around are going to say. Don't be afraid of anything. Just put that one foot in front of the other, whatever it is that you need to do. And remember that you saw that Jennifer said, listen, I was afraid, but God said, I've got you. And with what he told me, I just stepped. And her phone hasn't stopped ringing since. Was it a day then? Was it like every day the phone was ringing? Every day you had clients?
No. No way. No. When I just started, I left a job that I was getting every week, every 2 weeks pay.
Right.
To now, I'm going to live by faith. Okay. So when I just started, I didn't have, my phone wasn't ringing all the time. I would look up my phone. Did someone call? Did I miss a call? My books weren't filled. I only had maybe 1 or 2 clients for the week, and I was getting real nervous. And so it wasn't that way, but I stayed the course.
Right.
I stayed the course because whatever God ordered, he paid for.
Yes.
And God will never lead us anywhere. He'll never leave us or forsake us. So I just trust him, and I continued. Many times I felt like jumping ship, but I remember each time, I got you. So I stayed that course.
Oh, so it's possible. So we can take our inspiration of the fact that, you know what, it might not be all be peaches and cream every single day of this I got you. But as you continue to step, he will work it all out. And so we don't have to actually worry or be afraid, because while it's not every single day isn't going to be like, yeah, I've got loads of clients. For the first part, the loads of clients eventually came, and we're so happy that you took that step of faith out, because as you said, it's a niche market to have Christian counselors, and some people who go to church Christians would prefer to talk to a Christian counselor. So you provide a Christian counseling service. What aspect of it do you provide? If you just let the viewers know, what aspect of counseling, Christian counseling, do you provide?
Well, I work with women, a lot of career women, marriages, and also the family. I also work with men, but mainly women and marriages. And I see just a few percentage of children, but my main thing, the main population, women and couple. I really focus on relationship, healthy relationship. Hence my company, my practice name is Keys to a Healthy Relationship. So I offer my clients the keys for them to become, I play on that word. Do you hear that?
Yes,
Jennifer,
yes, definitely, definitely. Definitely.
So God is amazing, because he gave me the name and it all clicked, right?
All worked
But
out.
I really focus on healthy relationship, building a healthy relationship first with the individual.
Right.
And then with couple and the family. Because this is what I've realized, truth is that when I am healthy, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, I'm whole.
Yes.
So everything I touch will be whole. So as a woman of God, as a wife, I'm whole, a whole woman, so I'm a whole wife.
Right.
And so when I am whole, my marriage is whole. The church I go to, because I am there, it will become whole. Right. And then the community. So that is why I go from the individual to the marriage, to the family, and then it will touch the church, and it will touch the community.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it for so many reasons. Like, you know, my brain is working, so I'm not sure you see my eyes going while you're talking. I'm thinking because there is a scripture that says we should love the Lord, you know, thy God with all thy heart and mind, soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And a lot of people, I'm sure that's how the scripture goes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do evil to their neighbor. And while you were talking, I'm thinking, well, they're probably doing that evil because they do evil to themselves. Because if it starts with yourself, whatever you're doing to your neighbor, you're actually doing to yourself. And so I love the concept that you're actually getting them to understand that I would like to work with you to love yourself. You know, so that's the negative speaking, the abusing drug and alcohol, or, you know, any other kind of abuse to your body, any kind of stuff that will put you down as a person, not even focus on the next person, just focusing on you as an individual and making you become healthy. And then I like what you say in terms of if you are healthy as a person, then you can go into a relationship healthy. And then a healthy relationship will have healthy people coming to church. So can you imagine if everybody in church was healthy, then you have a healthy church, and then the healthy church can go out into I love it. You go out into the community and you're a healthy person. And this is so important. So I just have to stop here at this point again and say, listen, Jennifer has the keys. Jennifer has the keys, so just call her up. If you're in Georgia, she's licensed in the state of Georgia, and you're watching and you're thinking, I don't feel healthy. My relationships aren't healthy. My community doesn't seem healthy. And I don't know what to do. Give Jennifer a call. Give her a call. She will work with you. She will do what it takes to help you to get to that state of health in all aspects of your life. I love it. I love what you're doing, Jennifer, because it is important that we become healthy people. Health is not for someone else. Health is for me. And then health is for me to take it over into my family and take it over into everything I do. Wow. So you work with women. I know because women have a lot to deal with, don't they? They have so much going on.
Yes.
They do. Although I honestly probably think they don't have more than men to do. It's just equal, but somehow it just looks like it's way more for women. Maybe because our coping skills or something like that. But you do give women that space to be able to have their voice heard and for them to get the help they're looking for. And we love that because sometimes they are marginalized and overlooked and they don't know where to go for that kind of help. So we're quite happy that, you know, you are providing that and providing it for families. And here's the thing I found out. A lot of relationships, and especially within the church, when they start having problems, they never see counseling. And I'm not sure why.
Okay, so the church has a stigma. There's a stigma in the church that if you're sick mentally, psychotic, and just pray about it. But this is what I've always said. If you have diabetes, you can pray all you want, but if you don't stop eating the fat back and the fried food and the bread, you're going to lose a limb.
Yes.
So pray all you want, but you got to change. You got to fix the issue. And the thing is, many times we want to pray away the issue and not address the issue and deal with the issue and fix it. And so that is my pet peeve with the church. I've been in church all my life, and there's so many people in the church. The divorce rate in church is skyrocket, one of the highest. The suicide rate in the church is high with pastors. Last year we had pastors, the rate of pastor suicide has risen.
And so burnout as well. Yeah.
And the burnt out. So they're not taking good care of their mental health. Pastors, leaders are not taking care of their mental health, emotional health. And that's something that I really speak out a lot. Pastors, take care of yourself so you can take care of your family and your congregation.
That's true.
Take care of your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health so that you can be whole for your family first and the congregation, the sheep that God has put you over to be shepherd over.
You know, I love that because we're debunking this whole mental health thing. You have a problem, you've got diabetes, you go to the doctor. If emotionally you don't feel well, you don't want to do anything about it. But if you go to the doctor for diabetes, you get help. And we just have to just encourage our pastors. We love you. We love you. We love you. We want to see the best happen for you just as much as you want to shepherd us. We want to see well happen for you and your family as well. So if you're struggling, if you're suffering from burnout, if you can't bring that message that Sunday, if you can't bring that message for that week, for that month, please do call Jennifer if you live in Georgia as well. Have a chat with her. She's able to help you. And if you don't live in Georgia and you're watching, please find the nearest Christian counselor to have a talk with. You know, whatever your, and I'm just hoping that, you know, churches will have policies in place and the necessary people in place to be able to give that help to leaders when they are feeling burnt out like that. So we're just grateful. And what we tend to find is that if we can debunk the idea that if you're having a problem in your marriage, because it's relational, so you're taking in your psyche and you're taking in your emotions and taking in the situation, ask for help. Ask for help. Your emotions, your psyche, all of that needs help just as much as your physical body needs the help. And I wish we can get to a stage where people understand that and don't think it's demon and think it's you're mad, you're crazy or anything. We have to make it become a very open and everyday conversation saying you have to take care of your emotions. Your emotions matter just as well as your body. So I love it. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And you're working on helping people to manage their emotions and other stuff, and they're being healthy. So my question then is, how do you take care of your mental health?
A good question. Yes. I love music. So listen to music, listen to jazz sometimes, although I'm Christian, love some jazz, good jazz. I'm a gospel music, but I also pull away lunch, taking my lunch.
Right.
As simple as lunch, 30 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes. I pull away. Sometime I pull away. I take a walk. In between my clients, I'll go and take a walk, a 20-minute, a 10-minute walk. But I exercise, do my massages, get my massages, preventive care. I do that too with chiropractor. I do all of that. And then, of course, vacation. Love me some vacation, although 2020 kind of debunked that a little. Vacation was the backyard.
I do too. I can do a good vacation as well.
So I do that. And then sometimes, you know, I've learned to do what the men do. Come home, take off their shoes and take that remote and just click, 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 click. Well, I've learned sometimes, so I just kick my shoes off and sit down and just click, 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 and just don't think about anything. I go in my nothing box. You know, men have a nothing box. Well, I go in my nothing box.
Okay.
So that's what I do for my own self-care.
Brilliant, because you know it is important. I'm just so happy that you didn't think, oh, you don't say stuff like, I don't switch off, I'm so busy, I don't have time to take care of my mental health, but that you're actually intentional. You actually are intentional. You've put together a plan in how you can de-stress and how you can relax and how you can rejuvenate. And that's a really, really good plan, because, you know, what we're trying to encourage individuals to do is to say, listen, okay, I work as hard as Jennifer. And if she can just go into a nothing box, maybe I can go into a nothing box too. And you know what? People often underestimate lunch and eating lunch together with a colleague as well if you're at work. Sometimes go for a walk with your colleague, eating or just having nothing to do with the boss, the problems at work. Just talk about the lunch, talk about the random stars and moon and the sky. And it's having that interaction. And I know COVID is very difficult for lunchtime now. You know, people having to sit 6 feet apart and wear a mask and all this story. But we can still get something in. We can still, even if we can't eat lunch inside, we can still eat lunch outside. And if we can't eat lunch outside, we can go for a walk and then eat lunch separately. But do try to get your lunch in, because having a healthy diet is actually a way to look after yourself, your well-being, and it helps with your mental health. So I love it. I love all the things. You listen to your music, you enjoy all of that. You go for your massage. So you've left us with a lot of ideas. If anybody's struggling for things, to think about that me time kind of element. This is my time where I get to take care of me. And I just want to say to that person who's watching, who goes, I'm so busy, I don't have me time. You have to create some me time. Jennifer says she just goes into a nothing box. You have to be intentional about me time, taking care of yourself. And especially in this pandemic, it is really important that you take care of yourself. Perfect. So you're taking care of yourself, and then you've got your husband. How do you do? Are you responsible for helping him to take care of his mental health? Do you help him to take care of his mental health? How does that work?
Well, you know what? That's a good question, Trudy. But we are responsible for our own emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health. But how I help him, take him away sometimes. I
Right.
pull him away from the hustle and the bustle,
Mhm.
and take him out to dinner, take him away on vacation too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I also give him the space to
Yes.
have his own me time. I not allow him, but I give him the room
Right.
and the space with no guilt to go and have lunch by himself and go walk on his own and do his own thing. Because whenever he takes care of himself, overall, he's a better husband for me.
Good.
So it would behoove me to let him go.
Yeah.
Go take care of your mental health as the head of the home, as a
Mhm.
pastor.
Yeah.
He needs that as the visionary,
Right.
the foundation, because that's what he is.
Yeah.
He needs to take time and connect with him and God so that he can get, that connection, God can direct him. So that is how I help him, by giving him the room for his own space, his own time, without feeling guilty.
Perfect. So you don't have to be his handbag everywhere all the time. You don't
Oh,
have
I
to
don't want
call
to.
his phone
I don't want to.
every
No, I don't want to.
you don't have to call his phone
because
500 million times to find out where he is. And you don't have to scroll through the phone either.
no, 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 no,
Because you see some people getting up to that and you think,
no.
and you're thinking, yeah, and I like what you're saying. He is allowed time to gather his thoughts, just as how you get to go into your nothing. He is allowed time separate from
Yes,
you to just gather his own thoughts.
yes,
So you don't need to be
yes.
calling. Well, I don't have any authority to tell people they don't need to be calling, but we're just going from the authority state, which is Jennifer. You don't need to be calling 500 million times and wanting to be the handbag everywhere. Allow him a little bit of nothing but. And I like what you said, that you allow him to have his me time, and you think of acts of kindness towards him that you can do for him to help with his mental health, and actually allowing him time by himself is an act of kindness. So you don't always have to be the handbag. You don't always have to be there. And I think some women struggle with this because they think they have to be up under their husband's arm. They have to be there all the time, and they have to know his every movement all the time. And at least they've got to be there, because I need to know who he's with. And maybe no, he just needs to just hang out with himself. Really. And when you say, where have you been? And he's like, just with myself, you don't believe, but actually just with himself. I love it. I love it, Jennifer, because if he is whole and you are whole, if he takes care of his mental health and you take care of your mental health, those are people with healthy minds coming into church. And the scripture says, with the mind you serve Christ. So you have two healthy minded people now coming into church. Can you imagine if every single person in church came with a healthy mind? Can you imagine the difference that congregation would make? So we love it. We love it. We absolutely love what you're doing. We absolutely love it. We just want to say once again, if you're in Georgia and you are looking for a Christian counselor, Jennifer is a person. All of her information will be in the description box for you to talk to her. Please, please, please call her. We're now telling you that there's no stigma, there's no shame in asking for help with your emotion. So, Jennifer, I'm just going to get to this question, because from talking to you previously, I know that you are an author as well.
Mhm.
So you're a
Yeah.
counselor, you know, you're a pastor's wife, you own your own business, but you are also an author. Please, can you tell me about that?
Yes, yes. God led me to write this book. Um, Eight Key. The Divine is the Divine Makeover, and it's 8 key truths. Um, Taking you from a place of brokenness to living a victorious life. And um, really, this book was birthed out of pain, my own pain. It's my story. But also as a counselor, in the book, whenever you read, anyone that reads it, the reader, have a chance to process their own thoughts and
Wow,
feelings.
that's
So
amazing.
many times I have clients that will come to me and they said, I should have been coming to counseling a long time. Well,
Right.
they can start their counseling process right here
Okay.
because because in the book, we deal with things like lose the weight, take off the mask, um, see yourself through the eyes of God,
Right.
transform mind. So the book covers that. And this book was really, as I said, birthed from a place of pain. I did not intend to write the book.
Okay.
I was just very angry with God. Lost my mom, lost our baby, and I couldn't understand why God would let take away my BFF, my best friend forever, my mommy. And then 2 years after, well, really 3 years after, took our baby too. And so I was just utterly broken. So this diva you see right
I
here
know Hollywood come snatch her. Look at
was
her. Come
once
snatch her quick, Hollywood. Listen,
was one
Hollywood will snap you up after
was
this.
was once a was once a beautiful mess. I was a mess and I didn't even realize it. Because I was masking my pain,
Yeah.
um, hiding it, disguising it when I was really hurting a lot. And so God resurrected it one day. I found what I wrote on my desktop and I sent it to my sister-in-law. She said, this is a book. But I was so afraid to write it, to
Right.
publish it,
Mm-hmm.
because of the different position I held and how would people view me after they read my story.
Right.
But God spoke to me and he told me to get over myself.
Oh, oh, get over yourself. Wow.
And now forget it. He told me, get over you. It's not about you.
Right.
It's about the people that will be delivered, set free, that need to be healed. And so I asked him, Lord, right through me. And you know what, truly, what was so awesome is that as I wrote, as I typed, God was healing me.
Yes.
Every chapter, He healed me. Every chapter, He healed me. And at the end, um, God had me at a place, not fully healed, but I was far much better than I was. And I wasn't as angry because I
Yes.
was angry with God.
Yes.
And I was walking in shame and no one knew. I was walking in condemnation and no one knew. And I was walking in guilt and no one knew. There was always a shame around women who had children
Wow.
because I never would say I didn't have because I felt so ashamed
Right.
of not having. So this book freed me from that shame. And I thank God so much for entrusting me with the pain.
Listen,
Because
that's wow, that's heavy. That's heavy on your gratitude for pain. I guess it's, when
yes,
who was it that said, I was glad that I was afflicted. But as I listen to
Job.
it, so many things are coming to me, to be honest. So first of all, congratulations on the book. You know,
Thank
I'm
you.
getting a copy. I'm getting a copy because I want to read this book and want to, go through it. And I just want to encourage everyone to get the book as well. All the description for the book will be in, all the information for the book will be in the description box. But as you were talking, I know so many women, and even women who have children, who've lost a child and feel so ashamed.
Yes.
Not only ashamed, there are some women who, depending on the stage of losing the child, whether it's, you know, in the pregnancy or after the child is born, they feel such guilt as if they did something wrong. Or if they lost a child and, you know, their husband, they start thinking, my husband needs to leave me and find someone else because we don't know, no, we don't have a child and it's my fault. And it's amazing that it happens in the church as well. And there are all these women walking around with this, it's almost as if it's a second life. It's a second life with the hurt that you're talking about, the condemnation you're talking about, and realizing actually it's a natural it is a natural process that happens. So many women, even women that we see with children, are actually walking around with this lost child somewhere in their hearts. And it takes somebody to speak up and say, listen, you don't need to feel broken. You don't need to feel hurt. Well, of course you're going to feel hurt. But feel the hurt. And what I appreciate about you, what I find admirable is the fact that you process your feelings. You didn't, even though you didn't want anybody to know at the time, you processed your own feelings, and you could say, I am feeling hurt, I am feeling ashamed. And then God was able to work with you, because sometimes we don't process our feelings. We just smile like everything is okay. We won't even be honest with ourselves or God. And the man with the withered hand had to admit that there was a problem and stretch it out to get the help. And so I'm so grateful for the many women's life that you're going to be freeing. As of today, I know there's a lady watching. He's looking at, sometimes it's not even the lady, because we overlook the lady as well. We pay attention to the lady and overlook the husband. And sometimes they feel equally as bad. Like they feel equally as bad, because they're like, no, it's okay. We don't have to have a child. And the wife is saying, yes, we have to. I feel so guilty. And he just wants to make her happy. So if you're a husband watching this, we understand the pain. We understand the pain that you've gone through. And, you know, get Jennifer's book. It will be a help to you. If you're a wife watching, and you have this problem, you've had this problem, and if you had children, but that hurt was in your heart secretly from that child that you lost. But because you had to go play mommy and smile now because you have children, but you remember that one child, get this book. Get this book, because brokenness is something that God wants to heal. He doesn't want us to stay broken. He wants us to be whole and healthy. And so I really want to encourage you to get the book. Get the book. Get the book. That, you know, use a church book club. Buy it as a Sunday school lesson. You know, I'm sure the ways you're basically, you know, buy it and have Sunday school lessons out of it. Let's deal with the hurt and the brokenness in our environment. And even if you don't go to church and you're watching this, but buy the book as well, because if you have experienced anything like this, or you know a lady or a gentleman that's experienced anything like this is the right time to get that help. This is the right time. In the middle of a pandemic, when we're triggered, our mental health is so triggered, this is the right time to get that kind of help, to deal with it, and then to seek further help through a Christian counselor. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for, even though it seems hard and harsh and painful, I'm glad you listened to God and got over it, got over yourself, you know, and decided to step out by faith. And now the many women to be, you know, to be helped. And when Hollywood comes knocking, because you look just like Hollywood today, and say, listen, I want to turn this book into a movie, Jennifer will be playing herself, just as you see her. She will be playing herself. So we just want to thank you for that courage and for that obedience to God and that willingness to step out by faith. And here's another thing too, I got from what you were saying. So many times we think about what other people are going to think about us. not realizing that we have to accept people's humanity. Even if, you're a pastor's wife or whatever positions you have, we all have to eat, we all have to sleep, we all have to brush our teeth and wash our face. It's just a part of humanity. And so the process of childbearing or a child loss is just a part of your humanity, and your feelings and emotions are part of humanity. So I want to talk to that lady that's in the high position, that's locked in, that is thinking that I can't come down low. I want you to remember that you're human. You're human with human emotions, and that it is okay to feel them, process them, and then deal with them. And if the dealing with them is calling Jennifer, please do. And what we like about what Jennifer does is she practices as a licensed counselor in Georgia. But if you don't live in Georgia, you can still call her, and then she can do. So you can still pick up that phone and have an initial conversation with her and say, listen, I watched this, and I think, what I'm that person. I need that help. I'm carrying the secret. Can you please help me? Please, 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 please. Lovely. Brilliant. So Jennifer, wow. That's a lot to take in for today. Yeah. So you're now an author, you're an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you're getting on with all these different things that you are doing. How do you make it work in terms of the family setting with just you and your husband, because he's busy too? Leave us with a tip to working as a couple with so many different hats on, but making it work.
Well, we respect each other's gift. We allow each other to flow in the gift that God has given us. And when you're married, one of the things, you should be better because of that person. As a couple, we should help each other accomplish the purpose and plan that God has for us. Because the Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. It didn't say for both, for you.
Right.
So we give each other the tools, we support each other, we push each other to accomplish the purpose and plan that God has for us individually. And then we come together and we minister together, but we allow each other to flow in the gifts that God has given. So there's no competition.
Right.
We come together and work together as a team because we're one. So when one shine, the other shine. When one is blessed, the other is blessed. It doesn't matter who does it. It's us. So that is how we work together. We build each other up. We support each other. We pray. My husband covers me, and I thank God for him. He covers me before I preach, before I teach, even before I came on this program. He covered me. He prayed over me. So that is how and I do the same thing. I cover him. I lay hands on him. I encourage him, build him up. When he feels weak, he builds me up. So we're each other cheerleader,
Perfect.
And that's how we cheer each other on, and that's how we work together as a team, individually and collectively.
Wow, that's a lot. Wives out there, listen to what Jennifer is saying. Work as a team. Work as a team.
Yes.
And here's what I'm going to do. We're going to borrow it for not only the wives, for any family setting that's out there, because you've got some single moms and you've got some single dads and you've got some, grandparent families and stuff. If you look for the good and work as a team, allow that team member to be able to shine in whatever they're operating in, because if they shine in what they're doing, then everybody shines, basically. I always give this analogy. When I looked at, I can't remember what year it was, but the last World Cup that went, and I think France won the World Cup. And then I watched a very intensive documentary on the whole team. And I said, when I was finished watching it, I said, no wonder why they won. Because the team was made up of all these amazing stars. But at no point did each person say, hey, I think there was a gentleman that took all the free kicks, and nobody got up and say, oh, why are you giving him the free kicks? I do free kicks too. They just say, listen, we know he does free kicks. Just pass it to him. And almost all of the free kicks during the game, he aced them. And so they played for big clubs, but when they came together, they dimmed their light so that on the field where their light needed to shine, they allowed each other, even though they're big stars, they allowed that person's light to shine to get to the end goal of winning the trophy. And I thought, oh my God, if a team knows how to do it, how much more so, this is an investment in our future where we all of our relationships, whether it's a husband or a wife or a brother or sister, a mother, and a child, where we need to do exactly what you've said, Jennifer, work as a team. Teamwork makes it happen. So thank you. Oh my God, we're getting there. We're getting to our time. So we've got 2 more questions for you. Personal and social development and money. How do you, so we're not going to ask you your net worth, and we're not going to ask you your business net worth. We're going to ask you that after Hollywood snatches you looking like that, yes? After Hollywood snatches you on a few red carpet, we're going to call you back and say, listen, what's the net worth now? But we want you to leave us to tell us, how do you continue to grow as an individual and actualize within your profession? What do you do for your personal and social development? And leave us with a money management tip.
Okay, so first, I have to do my CEUs. That's my credit. So every year, every 2 years, I have to take new courses to keep my license. But I do seminars. I go to seminars. I listen to motivational videos, read books, and also talk to people who are in the field or people who are higher up where I want to go. I reach out to them, I talk to them, I get counsel, I sit at their feet, and I have them to I ask them questions and for them to advise me. So I take advice from people who are in the field or people who are going where I want to go. So that is how I build myself. And of course, I'm in the Word to stay grounded, because every level comes a different devil.
That's so true. That's so true. I wasn't expecting that, but that's so true.
Every level. So let's not get it twisted. Everywhere. Yes. A money management tip is what my father gave me when I left Jamaica. He makes police boots for Jamaica, Bronco boots. And he gave me a penny, 1 cent. And he said, financial freedom doesn't come by how much you save, but by how consistent you save. So, consistency. To me, if plan to save every week 1 cent, don't look at how much, just save it every week consistently, and that's how I still wealth. And then he told me financial freedom comes by owning my own business. So it's not, when we talk about financial wealth, it's not how much you save, it's how consistent you save. And also, I don't live above my means. I don't live above it. I live below it. And so, and also another thing which is great, if you have credit card or debit card, use your credit card more than your debit card. Especially credit card that has money back. When you spend, you get money back. If you have a credit card that doesn't have money back, don't use it. Your money must work for you. Debit card doesn't work for you because it's money out the bank. So always get a credit card that has money back, that every time you swipe, you're earning 3%. you're earning 2%. You're earning, so your money must work for you. So
Yes.
look at your cards that you're using. And if you have credit cards that has no money back, stop using that card. Get
Mm.
a credit card that has money back and use your debit card. Do not use it as much. Use more credit card that has money back. So your money is working for you.
Whew, whew. Oh my God. Being consistent in saving is the
Yes.
key. Being consistent,
Yes.
owning your own business. And I
Yes.
know all of us have the drive or the strength because it is actually challenging,
Mm-hmm.
rewarding,
Mm-hmm.
downright stressful sometimes to
Mm-hmm.
know that
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a payroll department to call to query your pay if nothing comes.
That's
You
a
are
fact.
your pay.
That's a fact.
You are
That's a
your
fact.
pay. Um, but it is correct if you really want that financial freedom you're looking for, because your pay will only go so much further. And
Yeah.
I want to add that people always think of a business in terms of just setting up a storefront, something, but there are different kinds of
Mm-hmm.
businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
different.
Mm-hmm.
You running your licensed practice is a business. You would have gone
Yes.
to somebody else's job to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, but now it's everything comes under you.
Yes.
So what we want people to do is not think of it is, I'm not going to tell you any lie. You do have to have your head on to all the red tape and all the things that the government requires for you to run a business. But you can get people to help you to do that, to
Yeah.
organize it all. So even if you're a lawyer, you can have your own practice. Even if you're a doctor, you can have your own practice. Even if you're a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, you can run your own
Mm-hmm.
online teaching school or something. Whatever your
Right.
profession
Right.
is, you can make it personal and do work
Mm-hmm.
for yourself under that. And also think
Mm-hmm.
of doing other kinds of business. So you might have, I'm just thinking as you were talking, you wear different hats. So although you're a licensed counselor, you're already a broker. So there's nothing stopping you from putting your hands in a little bit of, buying and selling houses still to make that extra money.
Mm-hmm.
You're a
Mm-hmm.
teacher. There is nothing stopping you for, if I
Mm-hmm.
mean you're a busy lady now, but if you had the time. So that's what we want people to explore. Being consistent in saving. And you heard it here
Mm-hmm.
from the lady who knows what she's doing. She says, use your credit card with money back. So everybody go dig in their purses now to look and see, do I have a money back? You need to call that company, and say,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we need to
Mm-hmm.
work something out. Be
Mm-hmm.
consistent. And then think, what business can I start? Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
are aware of the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. But Jennifer started her business because counseling was a natural thing for her. If you notice what she said earlier, and then her husband said, you keep helping people, why don't you go and get the license to do this? So we wanted to think, what
Mm-hmm.
natural skill and ability do I have? How can I make it better? And then
Right.
how can I turn it
Right.
into a business? And then how can I be
Yes.
consistent in saving any
Mm-hmm.
money from my job and this business to make it work for me, and then find out more
Yes.
information, like as you said, in terms of finding out about your credit cards and then making the right
Mm-hmm.
decisions around credit cards and make the money work for you on your credit card. So we love that, we
Mm-hmm.
love that, and as I
Mm-hmm.
said, after Hollywood come and snatches you, then we'll ask you your net worth. Then we will come and ask you. And we're telling you, Hollywood, you're missing out on this one. Listen, you need to come like no, like no, 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 no. So here is, we want to thank you for that. I want to really, really thank you for that. And we want to encourage you, in somebody who's watching as well, to, do
Mm-hmm.
personal development. It works. When you do your personal development, as
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer said, she takes
Mm-hmm.
courses, she reads books. What you're actually doing is growing. You're continuing to grow, and
Yes.
we ought to
Mm-hmm.
grow. We ought to learn
Mm-hmm.
something new. We can't remain
Yes.
static. We can't remain stationary. Growth is an
Mm-hmm.
integral part of life if we're going to be better people.
Yes.
So I want you to be
Right.
mindful also of
Mm-hmm.
your personal and social development. Learn something new, even
Yes.
if it's to bake a cookie, even if it's to,
Mm-hmm.
I've started this new thing of baking no sugar cakes. and I cannot eat for my life. But somehow they seem to have come out well all the time. There's absolutely no sugar in them.
Wow.
That's my little secret. You guys
Wow.
can call me to find out. And my sister took
Yes.
a slice to work, and her colleague actually ordered a whole cake. And I was
Wow.
like, is she? I was just doing it for fun and playing around with the food in the kitchen. And I baked about 4, and everybody in my house was like, and my family was like, and I'm just thinking, okay, I was only playing with food. And then I'm thinking, no sugar, absolutely no sugar. And she
That's a
absolutely,
business. That's a business.
exactly. And when she ordered a cake, I sat for a very long time looking at myself thinking, Trudy, but you're just only playing with this food. And my sister said, well, she liked it, and she's asking, when are you going to make this cake to give her? Because there's no sugar. Tastes just as sweet, but there's no sugar in it. There's no refined sugar, no artificial sugar, no sugar whatsoever in it.
Wow.
And I thought to myself,
Wow.
so you might see that cookbook, You might see that cookbook on the way. You might see that cookbook
There
on the
you
way.
go.
So we want
There
to
you go. Go
encourage.
for it.
Yeah, so it's something like that, where even though it's small, think about it. I might have to call on people that I know that normally this is what they do for a bit of help, but it's something like that. We want to encourage the person that's watching. Think about things that you like doing. It could be your hobby. It could be that you could turn that into a business with a bit of professional help. You can do that, make your money work for you. Perfect. Oh my God, we're running out of time. So you have spoken about, the different that guidance counselor from the beautiful Swan School that helps you.
Yes.
And all the other persons, including your husband, that has spoken into your life, that has covered you, that has basically mentored you, your beautiful mom that you were talking about, your dad's sound financial advice. Oh my God, I love the man, sound financial advice. How do you give back? Because you have been mentored. How do you give back? What's mentoring to you, and how do you then mentor others?
Well, I mentor any one that wants to go into counseling. I mentor them. Those who want to open their own business, I do. And I also give back. I work with the Give an Hour for military, that I give back an hour of counseling to military veterans or active military. So I give back in that way. And of course, I do a lot of volunteer work when it comes to the church. I do in the community. I do give back. And every with the ministry that I have online, that's free. I give back at that also with that. But I do also anyone that wants any direction, and sometimes not even the military. I do give back every year. I give free counseling to certain amount of people that I do give counseling, free counseling to those who not able to afford it, but I do offer that free counseling. And those who are grieving, who have lost some a loved one who can't afford it, I will do a workshop free. So that's how I give back to my community and also to Jamaica. I do sometimes fundraisers within the ministry and give back. My uncle Jack Drummond, he has a church there, Fresh Fire Ministry in Jamaica. And his son now, Jack Jr. Drummond, is running it now, the bishop. And also we'll do some fundraiser to send back to Jamaica to help with their school and their church. So that's what I do.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love
I
it.
love
You're
it too.
making
I
a
love the
difference.
giving back.
Yes. And it's so important to give back, because you are changing the face of the next generation. You're even changing, even if your giving back is impacting an adult now, it's actually changing the face of the generation now and the generation for the future to come. So that's why we are really big on mentoring here. If you have been mentored, if somebody has sewed into you, somebody has helped you, we just want to encourage you, stop and look around you and say, how can I now, with all that I am doing, how can I give back? We're not asking you to burn yourself out. We're not asking you to take up more than you can manage, bite off more than you can chew. We're just saying, because Jennifer just, especially with the veterans and active military service, it's just an hour. This is an hour. Could we arrange an hour of our time just to be able to help someone or to give back to a child, a community? And you've said community so many times here, Jennifer, that I just really love that you're not in it just for yourself and your church and your husband, but you think about the wider community that the church is in. I really admire that. I find it admirable. I appreciate it because there are people too. And you know what? They're looking to the church for help. So when they walk up, when you're an active church in a community, they can go and say, you know what? Those people up there, they are the real deal. They say they will help, they help. And even if people won't even come to church and say, give their life to Christ, I've seen where churches that are active in the community, it's almost as if the community members take ownership of the church. That you will see them, you know, coming to offer to paint, coming to offer to help sweep the yard, or, you know, do something, depending on where the church is, because they now feel so connected with what the church is doing for them out in the community, coming out to talk to them. So we just want to encourage anyone, you know, if you're a leadership and your church is in a community, think about giving that community a bit of life, help, reaching out to them, you know, make yourself known to the community members, and you know, and get them to understand that you are there, so that to serve them as well, not only your members, but you are there. I know a lot of pastors are doing this, so it would be remiss of me to think some pastors aren't, no pastor is doing this. I know a lot of pastors are. And then we want you just to think about, if you haven't yet gotten a community outreach out, to start thinking about it. With the pandemic now on us, the community, that the people are looking to the church for help. And it's not just physical help, it's just not food or clothing. They're looking, some people are so fearful. They're looking for a bit of, you know, that security, that certainty that the word of God brings. We love it. We love it. We love it. Listen, we have just had the most amazing conversation with Jennifer Key of Keys to a Healthy Relationship. She is a Christian life coach, Christian counselor, all that you need if you need to manage your emotions, get a bit of help around your mental health and wellness. She is there. You can give her a call. You can talk to her. And we just want to encourage you to use the service. She has lots to offer. If you're a lady, if you're a family, just give her a call. If you're a leader, give her a call. Just give her a call and have that conversation with her. She's also the author of a book that talks about how she was broken and how she was then delivered through her writing of the book with the loss of a child, or the loss of her mom. If you're facing that situation and you know someone, please buy the book. Everything that you need will be in our description box for you to be able to purchase her book or to book her counseling sessions. So we've spoken to the beautiful, the Hollywood is going to snatch her. Jennifer, before we go, I just want you to tell us one thing that we haven't highlighted. Leave with us one thing that wasn't a part of our normal questions that we asked, but you wanted to share.
To show up for yourself, show up. Many times we don't show up, you know, we dumb ourselves down to please others. But I want to encourage someone today to show up in your authentic self, in who you are, not what others want you to be, but who God has called you to be. And when we do that, we give him back. We're saying, thank you, God. When we don't show up as God wants us to, we're really saying, I'm not good enough, but God has made us good enough.
Right.
So show up. That's what I would say. Show up and celebrate every win, everything that you do that was difficult, and it doesn't matter how small it is. Right. Celebrate the small wins, not just the big wins. Celebrate the small wins and just walk in who God has called you to be.
Well, wow, I like that. Show up. Don't say, oh, I can't go. Oh, they're not gonna like me. Oh, they won't do this for me. Oh, they won't give me the job. You know, and you have skill. You can do it. So just be your authentic self, she says, and show up to say, listen, I'm here. This is me. I can do this. And celebrate your wins. And sometimes people don't understand that even no matter how small it is, the world might not cheer you for how small it looks. But if you know that you have, gone through such a tough time to get there, and and it's little things. They say one cocoa full the basket. It's a little things that eventually lead to the big wins. So think of that little thing as a part of the bigger win. And so you can celebrate that little thing, because eventually the bigger win that you're looking for will come. We just want to thank you. We've had so much fun. We don't want it to end. We don't want it to end at all.
I enjoyed.
We just want you to like, share, and describe. This is Thoughts, or mindful conversation series about mental health and wellness. I am your host, Trudy King. We want to encourage you, especially during this pandemic, to take care of your mental health. And we have loads of tips and hints and ideas from what Jennifer has given us to take care of your mental health. Please, please, please use them. And if you are struggling, please do contact Jennifer. We just want to thank you once again. This is Thoughts, and I am Trudy King. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Trudy.